SBR Videos is sponsored by Sports Cash System. Click on the link below for more information. Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are looking ahead to a week 3 in the NFL right now. It's Monday, and every Monday we're going to be doing an opening lines analysis show with Joe Duffy from Offshore Insiders, who's looked at a lot of NFL seasons in his career, a lot of opening line cards. We're going to take a look at the slate of opening lines, what we think might have some value, which lines might move, which lines are going to be big teaser sides, public sides, sharp sides, and all of that. Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Thanks for doing this show with us.
Thank you, Peter. It's going to be tough for me. I know I like to ramble on. I'll try to limit it to bullet point style on this one.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want to do. We're just going to feel out the lines. You know, we're going to feel them out. Which ones are going to move? Before we do, tell us a little bit about OffshoreInsiders.com.
OffshoreInsiders.com traces its roots back to the scorephone days of the 1980s. I'm the anchor handicapper, Joe Duffy. My picks are at OffshoreInsiders.com. Very solid year so far, 16-6 in the NFL going back to the preseason.
Awesome. And 6-2 against the spread in the 8 NFL videos that he's done with us so far this year. All right, I look at over these lines, and I'm thinking this has got to be, this is the week of the enormous home favorites. Indianapolis at San Francisco. The Niners are 10.5-point favorite over Andrew Luck in Indianapolis. Is that justified? I don't know. Then you have on Monday night, Oakland at Denver, 14.5. Denver minus 14.5. Is that justified? I'm not sure. Then Jacksonville at Seattle. Seattle minus, what is it, like 28? No, Seattle minus 19.5 over Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville sucks, obviously. 19.5. What do you think of any of that, Joe?
Yeah, well, I will say this. I wanted to look up, and I've got the software to do it. I just didn't have a chance. But that is one of the biggest spreads I've seen in a while where one of the quarterbacks wasn't named Tom Brady, the favorite quarterback named Tom Brady. Of all the big lines you mentioned, that one's probably the one where you might want to take the points. Jacksonville, don't get me wrong, they're every bit as terrible, but right. Seattle is coming off of the big emotional game. Then after that, they've got 2 big road games at Indianapolis and Houston. If that's not a sandwich situation, I don't know what is. It's a classic sandwich situation where they've got a lousy game, a lousy team between 2 good teams.
Yeah, and we will find out what the betting action for those 3 games is when I talk with Brent from BetDSI on Thursday, because I have to assume that the Sharps are going to take the underdogs in all 3 of those. And will the public bet the favorites? I don't know. Will the public bet Seattle minus 19.5? Maybe they will. We'll see. I have no idea. And one side that I do think they're going to bet for sure is going to be Houston on the road at Baltimore. Right now I'm seeing Baltimore plus 2.5. And Houston, they've got a very impressive team. I mean, they haven't blown anyone out yet, but that almost impresses me more, how their 2-minute offense has been so effective. Yeah. They've managed to pull out wins. And Baltimore is a team that doesn't have, a lot to recommend them. They look like a team that's got a lot of holes. One way or another, I think Houston is going to win this game. I think that might be a side that where the books are going to get overwhelming public and sharp action on Houston, and they might cover. But Joe Duffy, last week you gave us a great pick with Baltimore as a home dog. So you're great at spotting home dogs with value. What do you think? Baltimore is a home dog here with value, or no?
Well, that is definitely a game where before anybody bets, they've got to check the latest injury report. Right. You got Andre Johnson was hurt yesterday.
Concussion, right.
Is he going to be able to play this week? Hopefully he will. DeAndre Hopkins has been a great addition. So if Houston's wide receivers are both healthy, and the big story there is Andre Johnson, obviously, they're going to be a big play because Baltimore, they don't have many targets, and Jacoby Jones hasn't played for 6 quarters. Is Jacoby Jones going to play? So if Houston's receivers are healthy and Jacoby Jones isn't, I would definitely lay the point.
Are there any other lines that caught your eye as maybe lines that we might see some significant movement on?
Well, there are quite a few that really jumped out. The Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns, an interesting one because there's 2 lousy teams, and the public generally likes to stay away from that. Now, Minnesota, they're 0-2, but of course, this is their home opener. I think if anything, the public's probably going to bet on the Vikings because the Browns are a lousy team. They're even worse, and they're playing on the road. But Minnesota, I'm not totally sold on. I'm not sold on Ponder. We also, in one of our videos we did before the season started, I said that this isn't going to be Adrian Peterson's year. So right. I think if anything, the public will probably bet Minnesota because they are the less worse team. I don't even want to say better, but they're the less worse team, and they're laying a relatively small number. So if anything, I do think that line would certainly go up. The public's going to probably bet on Detroit. Washington has looked awful so far. I'm not sold on Matt Stafford, so this might be a situation where Washington could finally pull out a victory, but the Redskins have looked pretty unimpressive, and I think, if anything, the public's going to start betting against Washington. But, yeah, I've got, like I said, I don't want to ramble. I've got an opinion on every game, but there are a couple games that would jump out that I think the money will move on.
No, that's okay. You think the public's going to? I think that the public is going to take a lot for the public to abandon, RG3. I think they just every week they're like, all right, this is the week he's going to do it. This is the week he's going to do it. We'll see what Brent has to say about that. I wouldn't be surprised though to hear that the public actually is betting Washington. And then I'm thinking maybe the Giants though. The Giants have looked really bad in 2 straight games now. I'm thinking that maybe the public's going to jump on Carolina. What do you think about that?
Well, Carolina hasn't looked actually all that impressive either. The Giants are, Eli Manning is a guy who generally is a regular season quarterback, isn't the best regular season quarterback, especially early in the year. And I'm kind of, could go either way there. But I think if anything, they'd be more likely to bet the 2-time Super Bowl champion.
Okay, and then New England, I guarantee -7 over Tampa Bay. That's going to be a huge public teaser side, and maybe they'll be smart and tease it with Buffalo +2.5 with a total of 39. That's I think that's a Wong teaser subset. Teasing Buffalo +2.5 up to 8.5. That's probably going to be a big public teaser right there. New England tease to a Buffalo. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, on those, I've always said that, I shouldn't say I've always said because it's really only something that's evolved over the last couple of years, but I've said that if any team is going to be a surprise, you want to look at the rookie quarterbacks. Now, in that Buffalo Jets game, it's obviously a battle of 2 rookie quarterbacks, but E.J. Manuel well ahead of Geno Smith. So Buffalo, I think, would be the dark horse team. The Jets, not so much. So I would certainly take Buffalo there. But you're right, the Patriots, again, I mean, Tom Brady has struggled this year. They have no weapons whatsoever. Tampa Bay's defense has been strong. Their offense has been abysmal. So if you want to use the term big defensive dog, Tampa Bay's got a solid defense. They're getting a ton of points from Tom Brady, who's got fewer. Not that Brady has always had great weapons, except the one year he had Randy Moss, but these are the worst weapons he's ever had. I look for New England struggles to continue.
All right, well, I think that just about does it for us this week. Joe Duffy, we'll talk to you again next week. Thanks so much.